Hey, David McGuffin here. Today I'm in the Czech Republic in the capital city of Prague. It is December the 14th, 2021, so welcome to Travel Talk Tuesday. Although I'm in Prague today, my topic for Travel Talk Tuesday tonight is Strasbourg, France, and Zurich, Switzerland. I was there just a week ago, and we had such a great time, 3 nights in Strasbourg and 1 night in Switzerland. We covered a lot of territory, a lot of activities there. And so Charlotte and I spent an entire day in Strasbourg, walking around the city, making some recordings of the sights, and just kind of giving you an idea of what it's like to be in Strasbourg. So I hope you enjoy Travel Talk Tuesday night, and we'll get on with the show, visiting Strasbourg, France, and Zurich, Switzerland.
We had some really good dining experiences in Strasbourg. This particular restaurant, Maison Commerciale, is one of the oldest buildings in town. We went upstairs to their dining room and had a fantastic meal. Some good Alsatian Riesling wine, escargot for me, of course, and some pumpkin soup. Charlotte had some pumpkin soup here. I had this basically sauerkraut and ham with duck confit and potatoes there. It was really, really good. Typical menu. And then we had lunch one day at Uncle Freddy's restaurant in Weinstube. And again, a local Pinot Noir wine from Alsace. And then I got this whole meal of a pork knuckle, potatoes, and sauerkraut. Charlotte got some French onion soup. We had a great time at Uncle Freddy's restaurant, enjoying the day. This is outside Uncle Freddy's. It's in the Little Venice or the Little France area. And then one of my favorite places to go, La Table de Gao. Charlotte and I have been here a couple of times, and in the past, I've taken many friends there. Charlotte and I and Judy and Bob here had a wonderful dinner at this restaurant just behind the cathedral in a small little square. We had this fantastic wine, Chateau Neuf de Pop, and then it looked like we didn't have a whole lot to show because we gobbled everything up, but this was the dessert we had. And of course, in the evening with coffee and a biscuit. And David is the chef here, and the waiter was right there as well.
We ran across this church just right around the corner from our hotel here in Strasbourg off the river. It's named St. Pierre le Jeune, or St. Peter's, the younger St. Peter's Church, distinguish it from an earlier church built. This thing was loaded with really clear and bright frescoes that seemed to just pop out at us. It was amazing that being built in 1031 and then later in the 12th and 13th century that these frescoes were in such great shape. The saint here is Saint Columba, and actually you see a lot of those frescoes that are depicting Saint Columba and Jesus and some of his journeys. This is the interior of the church, and down below in the crypt is the crypt of Saint Columba and also his bones nearby. You can see here behind me is one of the entrances to one of the many squares in Strasbourg that are loaded with Christmas markets. And you can see this young lady here in the orange jacket behind me. Her term on the back of is she's controlling people's, they call it pass sanitaire, or your COVID-19 proof that you have a vaccination to get into the markets. So you have to have a mask. and you have to have a valid vaccination, fully vaccinated, to come in through here. But it's a festive place, you can see. This was one of 4 or 5 Christmas markets we visited in Strasbourg. There were plenty of them, but this one's right here by the Opera House. The previous episode of Travel Talk Tuesday last week, I think we showed you on a couple of the squares and around the cathedrals. But many of them have these homemade crafts. But this one was especially nice because we were outside in the daytime and not many people walking around. You know, so many times we're at these Christmas markets, and because it gets dark so early, around 4:30 or so, many of the videos you see are not illuminated at all by daylight. They're illuminated by artificial light, which is pretty in itself. But it's kind of nice to be out here as well in the middle of the day. It's about noon, and to be able to see these stalls and all the merchants and vendors without quite so many people walking around, but yet a good indication of what's available here. So it looks like this vendor here, all set up, richly decorated, is full of all kind of sweets. And over here, another vendor that has crepes, it says, croque monsieur, which is a cheese sandwich, pretzels, flambe, and baguettes, which are baguettes cut in half, and then with some toppings on them. They have drinks here, hot drinks, all short, and they have orange short, so orange juice, hot orange drink as well. Never any shortage at a Christmas market of things to eat and drink. This is all different types of hot wine that they have on. It never ends. I'll put it in my pocket.
You want my card?
Yes, please.
Okay. For you.
Thank you. What is your name?
My name is Yves-Marie.
Yves-Marie.
Yes.
Okay. I'm David. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And you?
David.
David. Nice to meet you, David. So for this model, it's 20.
20.
Yes, 20.
Okay. Merci
Thank
beaucoup.
You. Merci beaucoup à vous.
There was also a little area here where locals could come and purchase their own little Christmas trees. And then, I don't know what this baboon with the chain around its leg is all about, but there is some nice food right here. So this is the Grand Opera House of the Alsatian area. And the tent here is got a little music reminiscence of the opera, and these are the places that are set aside for people to get their food and to go eat. In this time of COVID-19, we're not traditionally allowed to walk around with food and drinks into the market, so up and down these aisles. So everywhere, each of these markets has designated areas where food and drink are allowed. And as you can see, there are many food and drink vendors just around this area. These potato cakes, ooh, they look pretty good. All varieties of sausage and hot dogs down here. And also all kind of chalet d'offre with the sausage. So no matter whether you're here in Strasbourg at Christmas season or not, this village is pretty enchanting here. A lot of little cafes if it's nice sunny weather outdoors. This place right here looks a bit inviting. We're on a discovery to find a yarn shop for Charlotte. This half-timbered house down here, you can see, is characteristic of the area all over Strasbourg, Colmar, all over Alsace. Okay, we're still in Strasbourg here, and although we're kind of looking for Christmas markets, we've come across this little island area called La Petite France, the Little France, along with all these canals. It's kind of like being in sort of Venice. There's 2 or 3 locks that go through here, half-timbered houses and everything. So we're going to go over here and take a look at this little island, La Petite France. Hey, still walking around Strasbourg here. One little street that is just so quintessential Alsatian, German, half-timbered lanes and everything. We are right here at just a little bit beyond the canal where we were looking at earlier. Monday night, 5 p.m. in the afternoon in Strasbourg. You can see it gets dark pretty early over here, but the lights come on and everything's beautiful. Especially at the Christmas season, but even in the summertime, Strasbourg is known for having light shows on the facades of several of the public buildings, like the Cathedral, the City Hall, the Opera House. And so it's a city of light as well. Strasbourg, by the way, is got about 270,000 residents here. So a pretty large city in all respects. It's also on a direct TGV train line from Paris. So you can get here in about less than 2 hours from Paris. So pretty amazing as well. So as we found out today walking around Strasbourg, a very, very formidable city, one that deserves at least a day here, so 2 nights and a day. Trams zip all the way all over the place, carrying people from out in the suburbs to here, but all we've done is walk and had a great time. Here are some of the windows for the children at the Galerie Lafayette. There are a lot of kids crowding around here looking at these animated players, kind of like looking at the windows at Macy's in New York City. So we're here at the Cathedral, Notre Dame of Strasbourg. and it is just too large to take in. But I wanted to show it to you all illuminated. You know, I think Charlotte and I were just standing here talking a little bit about it may be more impressive in this city, in Strasbourg, than the Notre Dame in Paris. This thing was built in about 1060 or so. It started being constructed again in for the third time in this Gothic style, and it's really beautiful. So hopefully we get to go in here and take a look around. Just so you know, all around the cathedral here is kind of like it was in the Middle Ages. All these little markets and vendors have crowded up around the cathedral and the cathedral square. I have a glass of Glühwein, hot mulled wine right here, and we were reading some history earlier today about Strasbourg, and it said that from at least the 1380s, a market has been here right around at Christmas time around the cathedral square. Probably not as modern as this, and maybe not with electronic pots for the Glühwein, but I bet it's something very similar. So let's go inside and take a look at the Cathedral of Notre Dame. This Cathedral of Our Lady of Strasbourg is massive, 367 feet long. My gosh, it's about over 100 feet high, and it was begun in the Romanesque style in 1015 or so, and not completed until 1439. And by that time, the Gothic architecture style that had shown up near Chartres in Paris and France had taken over, and it was completed in this Gothic style. It's a Roman Catholic church, and they have services in here every day. After visiting the cathedral, we had dinner, which I've already shared with you earlier, and then we came across the final market just around the corner from the cathedral, where this carousel, merry-go-round, was taking kids around on festive Christmas holiday music and spirit. And then we looked into the market and saw, oh my goodness, the Kathy Wolfhard shop with people lined up to go into that, where you could buy the same thing right next door without any queue. Anyway, that's how it works in the Strasbourg market. Hey, I'm in Strasbourg, France here. I wanted to let you know that if you're looking here at one of the main bridges coming from over here on the mainland, called Les Halles, and this bridge crosses over to this island, which is called the Ile-de-France, or the Ile de Strasbourg, I think is what it's actually called. And during these COVID and Christmas market times, it's regulated who can come across this bridge. Number one, you have to pass the barrier where these guys with the tent are located and show your vaccine certificate. Here they call it a pass sanitaire. Green passes in other parts of Europe, and we call it our CDC card. Beyond that checkpoint, there's also a bag inspection. So we brought our luggage in, and so we had to open up our luggage and let them inspect our bags. And there's a big presence of police with Uzi-like machine guns there as well. So once you cross this bridge and get over here onto this island, number one, you're safe and secure, because there's no weapons and no illegal stuff here. It's been inspected. Plus, you've also are only traveling around with people who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Shortly after I recorded that, we left and drove down into Switzerland, across the border, and arrived in Zurich later that evening. Okay, we're in Zurich tonight. And it's a kind of a new destination for me. I think I've been here twice, but it's been 10 years spacing apart each of those times. So we're learning it all brand new. I don't even know the name of the river yet. And there's a lake down beyond that clock tower. So we're looking forward to experiencing Zurich with Judy and Bob Norris and Charlotte and I. And hopefully we can get in somewhere and find something to eat. Your adventure always starts here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. We checked into a really nice hotel in Zurich, Hotel Felix, and then we found out that our CDC cards were not all that we needed in order to experience Switzerland and the city in the way that we really wanted to. We found out we had to actually go online and record and download a digital green pass or a digital card from Switzerland in order to participate and to go into restaurants. So we were unable to do that because it was such a convoluted process that it wasn't even possible to do that. So what we ended up doing was just going on over to the main market at the train station here, and we were able to show our CDC cards right here at the barrier with this lady. I think maybe she didn't quite know the full scope of the new rules because they had just become into effect, and this digital green card was just instituted a day before we arrived. So we were able to get into this Christmas market here and experience it inside the main train station in Zurich. There was a lot of people there and a lot of things to see and experience. Plenty of food, just as normal. And you can see this is inside the main train station. Gifts galore. These seem to be a little more upscale and maybe a lot more of them homemade. Of course, drinks, hot and cold, pretzels, chunks of ham. No big turkey legs or anything, but a really nice market here, and we were fortunate to get into it. Here's some crepes, it looks like, langos. A gigantic Christmas tree with Swarovski crystals. I think they said 50,000 crystals hanging off of that tree. Hey, I'm sitting in my hotel breakfast room with this Christmas music blaring here in the background. But that's okay. It kind of gives a little bit of more Christmas ambiance to the scenes that you're seeing. Hey, David McGuffin here. I am in Zurich, Switzerland, inside the main train station, the Bahnhof, and this is a Swarovski Christmas tree studded with thousands and thousands and tens of thousands crystals from the famous crystal maker Swarovski. Shortly thereafter, we left the Christmas market here in the main train station and walked out to the main city center and down a couple of the pedestrian roads in search for other markets and also in search for somewhere to go and have dinner that night. We soon realized that we were not going to be able to get in anywhere for dinner because we didn't have the digital COVID-19 green passes, which were just required by Switzerland the day before we arrived. So we walked back to the train station in hopes to get back into the market and maybe get some food on the go there. So I'm walking down this very beautiful street in Zurich, Switzerland. Everything's decked out for the Christmas markets. Stores are wide open, but it appears that we have to have a QRC or barcode certificate of vaccination or COVID-free in order to get into restaurants or anywhere else. I've tried a couple of restaurants and that's the rules. So from what I understand right now, we have to go back to a pharmacy, maybe at the train station, and show our CDC cards, and they transfer them over to a barcode or QR code. I don't know, but it looks like we may not be getting dinner anywhere here tonight. And if that's the case, we're going to be heading out of Switzerland tomorrow. So I'll keep you updated on it. It's always an adventure, especially in these COVID times. But Zurich is a really nice city. Nothing against them. It's just how it is traveling in the pandemic times. Hey, your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. We'll catch you later.
Well, luckily we walked back to the train station and talked to the gentleman at this Brazier Federal to let us in to have dinner. So we went in and had a great meal. There's some bratwurst and stew, and another piece of bratwurst and stew, and a roasty potato pancake, French fries, chicken cordon bleu. So we didn't go starving that night. At a very, very nice restaurant. And thank you to the waiter who let us in to get in to have some dinner that night. And with that said, we walked back to our hotel, slept the night, and the next morning got up and left and drove down to northern Italy.
Well, Al, that about wraps up Travel Talk Tuesday for December the 14th, 2021. I'll be taking the next 3 weeks off, and I'll be back in the brand new year with Travel Talk Tuesday beginning on the 14th of January. But thank you for watching tonight, and be sure to keep up with me on social media and on my webpage, davidmcguffin.com, for some special travel deals that we're offering for the 12 days of Christmas that will begin on the 23rd of December. So look at davidmcguffin.com or my Facebook or Instagram pages, and you can find out some information about that. Thank you again for watching Travel Talk Tuesday and for going with us throughout this event that we're doing, this travel event that we're doing. It's been a great time. I look forward to showing you around Prague, which is where I am right now, and other parts of Europe in the coming new year in 2022. We're doing a whole lot of video recording. So until 2022, your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. Thanks again for watching Travel Talk Tuesday. See you later. Merry Christmas from Prague.